Hey guys, this is Gorax. Today's video will be about unreleased content that is going to be released this Wednesday. I got invited to the playtest server of Era of Chaos. I would like to thank the developers and the QC team for this opportunity, as well as all my viewers and subscribers. I had a couple days to test new faction leader Tazar and his Fortress team, as well as other functions that are gonna get released, and I'm gonna mention them in a next video. I really wanted to try him in process in Fortress because it reminds me of the times where me and my best friend played Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and very often he chose Fortress and we clashed, and I always was afraid of his Hydras and Gorgons. So let's move on and see the Taza. So Taza is a very good brawler. He's mainly focused on his units and buffing them. He doesn't have a strong spells except for his ultimate. So his ultimate is a deathmatch. All units on the battlefield get 2 debuffs at random and can't be healed. The debuffs are burn, bleed, you name it. Basically everything that deals damage, puts you in some control effect, or even reduce your damage, like curse and stuff like that. So basically this is what you do. You do two debuffs like bleed and whatever, and the enemy damage debuffs doubles. So whenever if they got damage debuffs like bleed, they will be getting double the damage. Your units will be debuffed as well, keep that in mind. Okay, all debuffs can't be dispelled, so stuff like runestone and hero spells that dispel debuffs, that won't work. Friendly units gain 35 life drain. Fortress units increases the unit damage reduction by 20% and crit hit by 500 for 23 seconds. So it lasts for 23 seconds and the cooldown is 43, so there's only 20 minutes, 20 seconds downtime when it's not available. So let's go through the other spells. So it's a Earth Arrow, which is quite nice because it provides you with stun, which is a debuff. Quicksand, so it deals percentage damage, 2% of max HP for your units and 4% of maximum damage for enemy units, and also reduce enemy units damage reduction by 18%, so that's a debuff as well. Okay, then we got Petrification, so petrifies target unit for 7 seconds and dealing damage, so that's another debuff, and also it reduces units damage reduction. So his specialty, the 1-star specialty, the specialty is called Bloody Rage, and his 1-star specialty, friendly fortress units are immune to freeze, petrification, and time stop. So they can only be stunned, basically. This is the only way they can be stopped from doing damage. Tazar's mana cost for casting earth spells decreased by 20%, which is quite handy because he will struggle with mana. So 2-star is during the deathmatch, all units on the battlefield can't be healed. So Astral can't heal his units, Genie can't heal his units, and other heroes that use healing spells won't be able to do it. The life drain of friendly units will be increased to 35%, and friendly fortress units will increase the damage reduction by 20% and crit hit by 1000, so it doubles with 2-star specialty. Life drain and HP recovery do not count as healing. So basically all your passive life drain from your units and HP recovery will still count, and same for enemy. So this is why it's important to bring as much life drain and HP recovery units to your formation. All friendly fortress units increase unit def by 20% and unit damage by 10%. So this is a passive, it boosts your fortress units even further, which is quite nice. So now a 4-star specialty. So for every debuff fortress unit have, gain 1 stack of Plague Symbiosis, Plague Aggravation, and Plague Dominance up to 8 stacks. So basically you want to debuff your units. So when you cast it, you will have 2 debuffs on your units, and that way you can get it up to 8 stacks. So what does it does? What is Plague Symbiosis, Plague Aggravation, and Plague Dominance? Let's go and see that. So Plague Dominance is a Hydra skill passive. For every fortress unit deployed, Hydra units damage increases by 4%, and Hydra crit hit will be increased by another 100 for every debuff the target has, up to 5 stacks, now with 4-star specialty up to 8 stacks. So it's amazing. Basically, it's gives you a lot of crit hit, and Fortress faction benefits from crit hit and crit damage, and this is why I like it, because I really like to dish out these big numbers. And then we got Gorgons, Plague Symbiosis. The Gorgon unit damage reduction is increased by 5%, and it is increased by 5% for every debuff that the target has. So again, 8 stacks, so that's great. And we get Plague Symbiosis on Wyvern. The Wyvern unit damage increases by 5%, which is increased by an extra 5% for every debuff the target has, up to 5 seconds, so more damage. And we got Serpentfly. Serpentfly's crit hit increases by 100. Serpentfly's crit hit will be increased by 75, so Serpentfly will be have a bigger chance to do crit damage. And then we got Plague Symbiosis, so Basilic units damage reduction increased by 5%, and then 5% feather for every stack, so your Basilic will be more beefy. And then Plague Aggravation, so Gnolls unit damage is increased by 5%, which is increased by an extra 5% for every debuff the target has, up to 5 stacks. So your Gnoll will be dishing out more damage, and same for Lizardman, so his damage will be increased as well. Now the second part of this 4-star specialty boosts Hydra. Hydra becomes immune to stun. So on top of not being able of being immune to stun, she is also immune to freeze, petrification, and time stop. So what it does is basically your Hydra is unstoppable. She just dish out damage and can't be stopped until killed. Okay, and is guaranteed 1 chasing bite every 10 seconds. For 3 seconds after chasing bite, Hydra increases crit damage by 20%. So Hydra's Chasing Bite is a trigger ability which you unlock on orange level. So when its previous attack is dodged, Hydra gains 1 more attack, dealing 202 damage. Once Chasing Bite is triggered, Hydra is guaranteed a crit hit within 3 seconds. So basically, she's great against units that dodge. Whenever they dodge, she is still gonna do 202% damage. And the specialty makes it trigger every 10 seconds without even dodging. So she's able to get a guaranteed crit hit every 10 seconds for free. And this is why she's doing so much damage, which you'll see in the footage that I've prepared for you guys. I've prepared the footage of a Fortress against all faction leaders that are available at the moment. And I'll put a timestamp so you can jump right to it if you want to. Now let's go quickly through the units skills, and just keep in mind that when I'm recording that I only had level 1 skills, and same when I was doing the footage of the battles, all my units used level 1 skills. And as you can see, they also know quite high inner power. The reason for that is because the roster bonus is quite low, and also I didn't bother with ranking them up. As you can see, all of them will be rank will be 6-star without any potential, which makes what I'm gonna show you even more amazing. So let's go through Hydra skills. So Chaos Mist, Hydra blows a mass of Chaos Mist in this path, inflicting 1 random debuff among slow, bleed, burning, blind, static, plague, and disease to all targets in large areas. So these are your debuffs, okay? For 3 seconds, and dealing damage equal to 50% of its own attack. So she is bringing you the debuff. You will be debuffing the enemy units. And then we got Headback Combo. This is your main source of damage. It deals tremendous damage, guys. This is the main source of head damage. So Hydra has a chance to follow up with 1, 2, 3, 4 headbutts when attacking, dealing 68 damage each time. The chances of an additional headbutt is 60%, 40%, 30%, and 10% respectively. You'll see it in action. It deals a lot of damage. So then we got Plague Dominance, which I already explained, and Chasing Bite, which I already explained as well. Now, what is also interesting is the faction bonus of Fortress. When you upgrade it to red, you can choose Fortress units are good at spreading the plague and increasing units damage by 8% when fighting against units suffering from the plague. And the plague will be applied all the time, and I'm gonna show you why. Then we got Fortress units add up at battlefield healing, increasing the HP regeneration and receiving a 1.3% life drain. So this is even good. This is good as well, because this is the only way you'll be healing during the deathmatch. Okay, so let's move to the Gorgon, which is a second SSI unit. And what makes Gorgon so incredible is Mighty Gorgon. Mighty Gorgon is an RNG, random, well, RNG basically a type of a skill. And I'm gonna read through it and I'm gonna explain why. So Gorgon removes all debuffs on it and releases a Mighty Gorgon every 20 seconds. So she is taking off all the debuffs she got on herself and releases a Mighty Gorgon every 20 seconds. So every 20 seconds she's dealing 20 to 25,000 damage to 3 target units and has a 30% chance to petrify them. Petrify reduces the damage reduction for 3 seconds and a 2.4 chance to deal 2500 times the damage. This sounds amazing, and it is. However, you need to keep in mind it's only 2.4 chance every 20 seconds. So during the fight, you will have like you will trigger that 15 times if the fight lasts 3 minutes, okay? But I'm gonna show you guys how much damage it can do. So this is the damage, 61,863,000, okay, compared to Hydra's 18 million. So if Gorgon procs it, she will do a devastating hit. Now let's move to Marsh Overlord. So increases Gorgon dev by 15% and unit damage reduction by 10. If damage received by Gorgon from a single attack exceeds 15 of its max HP, it becomes immune to the damage beyond that 15%. So the biggest hit she can get is 15% of her max HP, no more. So if someone is using a burst unit that deals a lot of single damage, this will nullify it completely. So Plague Symbiosis I already explained, increases her damage reduction. Then we got Wild Curse, so decreases crit hit by 150 and units damage by 10% of hostile units around Gorgon. So that's a aura. So she will be debuffing them constantly. And this is a great unit for this faction. Basically, both Hydra and Gorgon will be your mass need units. Let's move to Wyvern. Wyvern is a great damage dealer. She does a lot of true damage, and also it's a one-man unit, so it's very good against Sandro. So her ultimate is Venomous Spurt. Every 21 seconds, Wyvern spits venom at the target, dealing damage to hostile units within a certain range and inflicts them with plague. For 6 seconds, plague damage dealt by Wyvern increased. Okay, but we got a better explanation of plague here. So plague causes damage to units over time. Deals an extra 30% damage to bleeding targets. So Wyvern Vicious Claw, Wyvern attack speed increased by 3%. Its normal attack makes the target suffer from plague. So she does damage over time, which is a DOT to enemy units. Then we got Plague Symbiosis, which increases its attack unit damage. And then we got Wild Miasma. So Wyvern attack increases by 30%. So she boosts her attack by quite a lot. Wyvern makes all hostile units suffer from plague and decreases their healing by 20% every 20 seconds over the next 10 seconds. So not only your deathmatch makes the units not heal at all, but while you are on a downtime on this deathmatch, she will provide you with the buff that reduces enemies' healing, so they won't heal up as quickly before the next deathmatch happens, which is very good. Then we got Serpentfly. So Marsh Plague, Serpentfly unit deals damage to its target unit and makes them suffer from plague. So this is another unit that can trigger the plague. Serpentfly's attack speed increases and crit hit. So this is a unit that will do a lot of crit hit damage and crit very quickly. Serpentfly crit hit increases by 100 and 75 feather for every debuff, so that's the Plague Symbiosis. And then we got Weakness. So when the Serpentfly lands a crit hit, it has an 8% chance to decrease units damage by 5% and crit hit by 100 of hostile units within a certain area for 10 seconds up to 3 stacks. So she also debuffs the enemies. So this is why I like this kind of gameplay. So you make sure your enemies deal as small amount of damage as possible, and also debuff them slowly through the game. Then we got Basilisk, so it's a tank unit, and Petrifying Bite. So the Basilisk unit petrifies the target for 4.8 seconds, and petrification that decreases the unit damage reduction. Basilisk also is really close to Earth Elemental because of his petrifying impact. So every Basilisk petrifies for surrounding enemies when it dies for 3.5 seconds. So it's a nice counter to Naga. You want to put him in a line with Naga. So if Naga kills him, she'll get stunned and she won't be able to use her ultimate. So then we got Adamantine Flake, so increases Basilisk death by 50% and units damage reduction by 5%. So this will be changed. It will say death instead of DE. And Plague Symbiosis will have damage reduction, increases the damage reduction of Basilisk. And we move to the Gnoll, which is an R unit. So the Gnoll unit deals quite a lot of damage to its target and stuns them for 3 seconds. So basically works like your imps and stuff like that. Then we got Primitive Wildness, so increases Gnoll's attack by 50% and attack speed. So it's a fighter unit, so he will dish a lot of damage, and I think he will be quite useful in PvE content because of his execution. So when fighting against the target with HP lower than 30%, the Gnoll attack increases by 30% as well. And the last one is an Archer Lizardman, Poison Dart. So Lizardman unit deals quite a lot of damage, as you can see, 3 times more than this Gnoll to the target and gives him the Plague. So Rendon increases normal attack damage by 10% and the damage dealt to bleeding targets increases by 30%. And then we got Dragon Slain. So when facing 1-man or 4-man unit, the Lizardman unit's damage increased by 5%. So he will be quite useful in PvE content as well when you're facing a single target units. So I've tested 3 formation that I really liked. There probably will be more. However, this is the one that I liked the most. So I'm running Basilisk, Gorgon, Ogre, and Behemoth at front. I'm running Hydra, Wyvern, and Angel in the back, and I'm only running a Serpentfly. This is very tanky and very destructive formation, and you only need to focus on 3 faction rosters, which is Stronghold, Fortress, and Castle, as well as only 3 different types of units, which is defensive, offensive, and a caster. This is why it's really strong and you can get a lot of power from it. And there's also 2 other that I'm gonna show you guys now. So this is a Necropolis variant of it. Over here I'm utilizing the debuffs. Zombie provides me with slow debuff. Bone Dragon causes silence and also a damage reduction aura. And I'm using vampires to boost life stealing or to basically heal my units during the deathmatch, because his ultimate does not work. So, but I'm using him because it works on him. It doesn't work on the units. Okay, but it's quite useful during the formation that I prepared. I didn't know it doesn't work, but it doesn't. I know that it now. Okay, so let's move to the last one. The last one is damage focused, so it's all about bleeds. You want to increase your units damage by 30% when they fight and bleed in units, and I'm using Dendroid here. You want a single unit tank here to counter Sandras. I'm using a Green Dragon as well, and still keeping my Angel here for the regeneration. So before I show you guys the formation in action, I want to mention it once again that all these units, they have 0 potential whatsoever. They all have 12,000 talents. I wanted to keep it as fair as possible to show the real potential of Tazar when fighting against similar opponents, similar power opponents. Keep in mind all skills of units will be level 1 except for Headbutt. As you can see, I didn't have the skill stones to upgrade. I could have upgraded using these materials, but I didn't bother doing that. That will take a lot of time and it's not really worth it. So let's go and see Fortress and Tazar in action. So I've prepared the footage in advance. First fight will be against Astral using the bleed combination. I had to do it in advance because it will take me a lot of time to get this video ready. And as you can see, I'm casting the deathmatch, and now his genius can't heal. His units can't heal. As you can see, the HP is dropping. No one is healing, and this is why it's so strong. So he's casting his ultimate, and it's not healing. This is why it's amazing. As you can see these headbutts, headbutt count. Okay, so this is what does a lot of damage. As you can see, his units are dropping. Headbutting all the time. Sadly, during this recording, didn't proc Gorgon's skill. The main reason for that is because the fights were like a minute worth, so there's only 3 times you can prot. So let's see the damage. So Hydra is first with 28 million damage in 1 minute. So basically, so she's done more damage than the Giant and Naga, which are also 6-star, and Naga is awakened. So as you can see, this team does a lot of damage. Okay, so Gorgon didn't proc her ultimate, but still. So the true damage, Wyvern is doing a lot of true damage. It does more true damage than Giant. Okay, keep that in mind. Both Hydra and Wyvern will do a lot of mine damage. The damage I'm making. Okay, so the reason I'm using Angel here is to provide with regeneration. So as you can see, as I said before during the skill, the headbutt is the main source of the damage from Hydra. Okay, and Serpentfly is not doing the greatest damage, but it still brings debuffs to the team. That's why I'm using it. Probably later on you can replace it. Ideally, what the Chinese guys are running is Fortress with Castle. So, because there will be more units released later on for the castle. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna change to the formation that I like the most, which will be Fortress and Stronghold. I think this is the strongest one that I've done. As you can see, I will just move these units around, see how they work, but it will does less damage because you're using 4 tanks, but it uses strong units, so Ogres boost all units recovery, so my units will be more tanky. The only thing that I've noticed so far is the Basilisk on the bottom line. He is not as tanky as other units, but it's not bad because when he dies, he actually controls the bottom line where the Astral Angel is. Yeah, so my Gorgon died from the Naga. Surviving the Naga line is really hard, and she's done it. As you can see, this fight is longer because my units do less damage, but it's not that longer. It's only a couple of seconds, and they still dish out a lot of damage. So that's why I think Tazar will change the meta at the moment. But the problem with Tazar is before you get to this point where I got all these units in the video, it will take you a couple of weeks or months if you don't want to wait. Because as you can see, I'm fighting 6-star SSI units using my 6-star SSI units. But also keep in mind, these are all level 1 skills and low talents, only 1200 talents. Okay. So this time around, Naga did more damage. Let's go further. So this is going to be a Necropolis formation against same Astral. Keep in mind also, I'm not using any artifacts like Sword of Frost or the Dragon or anything. I wanted to just show you the units in the formation instead of artifacts. Okay, so as you can see, this is another damage-oriented build. So as his Iron Golems just died instantly. However, keep in mind this is also a squishy one because vampires are rather squishy. They provide a great utility, but they are not the most beefy unit. As you can see, the rock just destroyed the vampire line. Okay, so it's a 3-0 against Astral. And as you can see, Hydra does a lot of healing and a lot of damage as well. Okay, so next one will be against Sandro, I believe. Yes, so I'm fighting against Sandro. Everyone hates Sandro, but let's see how I do here. So I'm using the Necropolis formation first. Okay, I'm doing the deathmatch. So the problem with deathmatch against Sandro is Necropolis units don't heal using skills. They heal using their lifesteal. However, as we can see, it doesn't work on enemy units. They're not healing. My units are healing, but his units are not. And the fight is over. The fights are usually like a minute worth, okay? It says here it works, but I didn't see the healing pop up, so I'll need to check that again, okay? But some units did the healing, so like Leech and stuff. But as you can see, Hydra and Wyvern on top of the damage meters all the time. Okay, so another one will be using Stronghold. I really like this combination. Also, as you can see, I'm not using any war machines. I wanted to make it as fair, and I didn't want any machines to get in the way. Just wanted to see the units in action. Okay, so let's pay close attention and see what's happening. So it's a deathmatch again. Okay, so life drain works. As you can see on these whites, they are slowly healing when they are auto-attacking. So it's just the healing from abilities that doesn't work. Okay, so we got that confirmed. Okay, the deathmatch is over, but the fight is over as well. So if you are starting on new server and you are deciding what to invest into and you got a couple bucks to spend, Tazar is something different, something new, something refreshing. Everyone's playing Sandro Astrals at the moment, so I would suggest to try him. But it will take you, he's not as easy to build. As you can see, we don't have any units released yet. I wonder how they will release them, in what order. We know we're gonna have a Gorgon altar now, so if you want the Gorgon to a 3-4 star, you'll need at least 15,000 diamonds to get it. But I think Tazar will be as strong as Dragon Mutare is at the moment. She required a bit of investment and a couple months to actually succeed, because it's hard to succeed straight away with a new hero. So this split formation, it's not as tanky because my Dendroid is not so strong. However, there's a Dendroid awakening happening now, so if you awaken him, he will be much stronger. But this is damage oriented. Okay, so I got two damage oriented builds, one with a Rampart and one with a Necropolis. The defensive one is with Stronghold and it's doing it has the best results. The reason for that is because your offensive units are doing all the damage and you want to have them behind your tanks. And all the tanks in Stronghold formation provide you with health regen as well. So this is against Dragon Mutare. I've tried to put these other heroes with the most common formation. They might not be the best formation, but these are the formation that are very common on our real server. This is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do like max out all my skills, be like 7 million power with Dragon Father at level 20. There's no reason to show you guys that. It's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to show you how strong Tazar is. And as you can see, Hydra is above everyone else in the damage charts, but in a true damage, Wyvern is quite high as well. So keep that in mind. And I really like the way the Hydra plays. I'll probably invest in Tazar, but first I need to finish my Axeron to foster Dragon. Getting these universal tokens is really hard without being a VIP 15. I'm only VIP 13, so. Okay, as you can see, look at this HP of that behemoth. It just dies. Okay, drops quickly because he's in a line with Hydra. So basically what you want to do is you want to put your Hydra against the strongest tank to destroy him the fastest. See, over here I should have put him against either Behemoth or the Black Dragon to get rid of these two tanks. If I get rid of these two tanks, it will be an easy way for the backline. So, as I said before, this is the setup that has the lowest damage output, but is the most tanky. This is why this fight in particular takes a little bit more time. However, it's the safest way. As you can see, only the Gorgon is at low HP. Okay, let's move on. So Hydra still the best. This is what it's gonna be. She is going to wreak havoc here. Okay, Gorgon didn't proc her ultimate, which is sad. I thought I would proc it at least once, but the fights are just too fast. Okay, so this time I'm gonna do a Necropolis variant. I believe you can try basically everything and everything will work here. You can try Dungeon as well with a Black Dragon and maybe some Crow control like a Beholder or even Medusa for petrifying. She deals an increased damage to the petrified units, and you petrify the units here all the time, so it might work as well. But I didn't have that much time. I only got the materials to get these units to orange free on Sunday. So today is Tuesday. The day of the recording is Tuesday, so it was only 2 days to really see their potential. I was just focusing on making sure that these units work. Okay, so that's another. It's only a minute fights, guys, and this is the same power opponent. Basically, this is my mirror. Okay, so it shows you how strong this really is. So next one will be against Kilgo. I know Kilgo fell out of the metal recently. However, he's still strong and his ultimate heals units quite a lot. So I wanted to check that. I wanted to see how it really is. So I used the team that whales use. So basically genies and stuff like that. I wanted to see how tanky they will be. So as you can see, I'm getting through his front line quite quickly. I don't even need to worry about the back line, because the units I'm using 3 fighters, and fighters are great against defensive units. They have increased damage against defensive units. That's why the tank line dies quickly. As you can see, only vampires died, and as I said, this skill of vampire seems like it's not working because it's healing, it's not life drain. Okay, so if you want to run vampire with Tazar, you could change his awakening talent to increasing his life drain, which will work then. As you can see, Hydra is unstoppable. I really like this unit. So far, it's my favorite unit of this faction. Just like how she works. She just dash out a lot of damage and can't be stopped. So she's an unstoppable force. I wonder how her awakening will work. Okay, so this is another fight against Kilgore. This time I'm using the stronghold formation. As you can see, his iron golem just disappears twice because Angel's Resurrection works here as well. What you could also do here is basically replace Serpent Flies with an extra offensive unit to just destroy the tanks. Basically just like crack hack works in it's not Duel of Heroes, it's the other way, I forgot the name of this arena, and crack hack with 8 melee works there well. So basically Tazar is an upgraded crack hack when you run Fortress. As you can see, all my units almost at full HP, so it's just a train going through the enemy units. It was a longer fight though, but still my Gorgon didn't cross it. And so just keep that in mind. When she procs her ultimate, it will change the fight. You can be an underdog, and when she does proc, it deals about 60 million damage, which is a lot, guys. So from 25,000 it will go up to 60 million. And that's on level 1, and the chance will increase with the level up. So I can't even tell you how big the chance is going to be, because I can't level up the skills. Okay, so this is another Kilgore fight. Okay, so he's healing now because it's out of the cooldown of deathmatch. I wonder if his ultimate is on, but if I start mine, he stops healing. So this is nice. Also, as you could see in previous videos, the AI for Tazar is not the ideal. It uses quite a lot of mana before the ultimate is available, making it downtime a little longer. And you can fix it by using a different passive. You can use the passive to increase your mana. However, I would stick with decreasing enemy mana, because you don't want your enemy to spam spells as often. However, it's up to you really. I couldn't test the mana regen one because I didn't unlock it yet. Okay, so this fight will be against Xeron, and so far Xeron was the hardest one to beat. The reason for that is he goes for the backline. I think I'm gonna lose that one. I'm not sure. Okay, so he goes for my Serpent Flies. They are not the most important unit in my setup. However, after he kills them, he's gonna go for the Green Dragon. And for this particular version of Tazar, Green Dragon is really important. He deals a lot of damage. So now he's going back to Serpent Flies, and my units are slowly dying. Okay, so this is the only fight that I believe, well, the Xeron is the only hero that really stands up to Tazar, because he works in a very similar fashion. He deals a lot of damage to the back line, and Tazar deals a lot of damage to the front line. Okay, so again against Xeron, this time I'm using Necropolis formation, so it is more damage oriented. So my vampires are going to die quite quickly. Okay, I kill his tank, the first tank fallen, but it's rather close, as you can see, right? So to all these people that say Xeron is weak, you just need to wait and invest into him a little bit more, because this probably is not the greatest formation for Xeron, but it works well. Okay, so Hydra is still the biggest damage dealer, but Devil is close by. So now I'm gonna use my favorite formation against Xeron. We'll see how it plays out. So I think Angel is a crucial here because it boosts HP regeneration. That's why Chinese people, the people on Chinese server are using it because of that utility he brings. Okay, I'm not convinced on Serpent Fly yet. Maybe with Korvac upgraded, it will have a bigger impact. However, I just like how they spit these poisonous darts on the enemies. It looks amazing. And they do it quite quickly, so it's also nice. As you can see, using these stronghold formation has no stopping really. There's no stopping it. Just look at that. Not even close compared to the other formations where Xero could do something. But no, here it's just too much health regen. Okay, next fight will be against I believe Chile. Maybe we'll see. I can't remember. Yes, so it's against Chile. So we'll see her in action. She's a 4-star, maxed out spells, and also magic talent. So she will be spamming spells every 9 seconds instead of 12. And as you can see on the HP bar on the top, whenever she casts a spell, there will be a crystal, so you will be able to see it when you're fighting her, so you can expect what's coming next. So the problem with AI with Chela is she is trying to do this tranquil rain quite often, and it's not good against Tazar. As you can see, she does better than most of the meta heroes now. Okay, and that's against stronghold formation. This is against the strongest formation I've built at the moment. So I think she is also a good hero, but it will require an investment as well. But not as big as other heroes, because you probably have all these units, all the elementals at 5-6 stars as well. As you can see, I didn't have them quite high. And this is just me coming up with a formation for her rather quickly. So now I'm gonna use the bleed formation that has a better damage compared to the stronghold one. So she did chain lightning, which is good. Look at the HP of my units. Okay, let's see what next combo she'll use. Mystic Domain, which is a silence. Okay, so I'm not certain, but I think this silence stopped Hydra from headbutts. I didn't see any notification of headbutt, so maybe Hydra can be silenced instead of any other CC, and that will stop her damage. It's interesting, and I'll need to check that later on. Okay, and the last formation against Chile will be the Necropolis one. I think if you argued, you could also use conflicts here. You could use Earth Elemental, Psychic Elemental, and Fire Elemental. That will be like 4 offensive, 4 defensive if you replace Serpent Fly. That might work as well. As you can see, it's just these are the 3 that I came up with rather quickly, and all of them are working very well. But I believe Tazar will be just like Dragon Mutare, and you can try a lot of different things. Right guys, this is it for today. As I said, this is quite a long video, and I'm gonna release a video about the magic talent as well as Angelic artifact, a new artifact that came out, that will come out on Wednesday. I'll try him in action, see if everything works and if it's as good as people are saying. If you guys like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.